After beating the first Berserker Kazan demo, I noticed it made one big change to the Souls-like formula. And that is the fact that you will continuously get more and more XP as you fight a boss, instead of at the end of the fight, when you defeat the boss, you get one lump sum, right? But in this case, you get a little bit every time you do well, and you fight the boss for even a few minutes, you're going to get some XP back, and it stacks up with the souls you're going to retrieve inherently, meaning that you're going to continuously get more and more XP as you fight them, that you'll even be able to level up, get new skills as you fight them. And that's kind of wild. I don't know any other Souls-like that lets you grind on the boss, right? As opposed to having to backtrack and go and farm enemies from previous areas to try to level up. And nobody wants to do that, right? That's a really annoying thing to do in 2025. But at this day and age, it shows that the developers here have an interest in not being frustrating. They want you to keep playing the game. They want you to keep having fun. And I think that alone is reason enough why you should try this game, why you should check out the demo, because it's free on everything. It's free on every console. It's free on Steam. And it's just a really, really well done Souls-like that, you know, it's going to remind you of a whole bunch of different games. It's this amalgam of things from, you know, ARPG side, like God of War, and Black Myth Wukong, and also Souls side, right? There's a lot of Sekiro, Lies of P, even Neo is in here. So I think it's got something for everybody, right? But that notion of being accessible, not in terms of being easy. The bosses are still very challenging. But the fact that they're not frustrating enough, the game wants you to get good. It's going to help you get good. Because as you keep playing, you're just going to keep leveling up. You're never really stuck. You're not, the boss fights are no longer walls. They're no longer going to cause you to throw a controller against a wall or have you just give up on the game outright. They've designed this in such a way where they want to encourage you. They want to keep you entertained. They want to keep you from getting frustrated. And I just think that's a really important thing to note. In a world of Souls-likes, in a world where a lot of things are redundant, this is a really interesting decision that they've made to the game design that really only illustrates to me that they're trying to be as enjoyable as possible. They're trying to give you the best time as you play this. And I think that is a difficult thing to do. There's going to be a lot of purists that are going to say, well, that's going to make it way too easy. There's plenty of people who are really good at these games, and they'll just, like, you know, get through it and first try, right? But most people, right? Because in all the boss guides that I've made, there are a lot of people who just struggle and struggle and struggle, and they give up. They hit that wall, they hit that boss, and they just can't get through it. They spend hours and hours and hours. And it seems like the devs from First Berserker here understand that plight, and they didn't want that to be part of the game. They want to give you a big challenge, and yeah, the game's very challenging. I remember reading the comments when the demo released a few months ago, and everybody's, this game's so hard. I mean, personally, I didn't think so. Got through it okay. I didn't really have that much of a hard time with it myself, but I can see why people would be like, oh my god, this is really challenging. All the stamina management, everything costs stamina, you know, and it's like, yeah. It's one of those things where I just find it to be refreshing that these developers now are trying to be not just iterative, but innovative. They're trying to do things to the Souls formula that want to encourage enjoyment as opposed to ball-crushing frustration. And I just really found that this game in particular had everything buttoned up. And again, we'll see if the final game is as polished as the demo. But I mean, everything about the game is solid. The combat's incredible. Like, once you click with it, once you figure it out, it's just, it's so enjoyable. Especially if you like, you know, Lies of P, Sekiro, Neo, that kind of thing. Very good. You're going to be locked in, like, from the very beginning. Very straightforward. They're going to give you all these other things like multiple weapons, not as much as, like, you know, Elden Ring or one of those games where it's like 200 weapons, right? But they give you 3, which reminds me of God of War. And then you have all these skill trees, which remind me of, like, Black Myth Wukong. So they have this huge amalgam of all these other concepts, but they do it really well. They've brought all these different sources of inspiration together, and it works. It works great. The aesthetic is good. Everything's good. Performance is great. You know, it's just a very snappy, enjoyable game. But this one detail, right? This one thing is so important. I just find that if you're thinking about the average player who's going to struggle for hours and hours and hours, right, and maybe give up. Versus, you know, the uber Souls-like player who can, you know, no-hit everything and you're good to go. Like this dude from Reddit who's played this demo now for 100 hours and can stun lock the boss without getting hit the entire time, right? Good for you, buddy. But for everybody else, you know, you don't necessarily have all the time to invest in a game that's that difficult. But I feel like First Berserker is really not necessarily treading new ground. It's something you've seen this before, but it's trying to give you that entertainment value. You know, it's trying to encourage you to keep playing for another half an hour, another hour, right? See what's next. Go to that next boss fight. I just enjoy the way that the mechanics work, and I really like the tells, you know, like being able to see when an enemy is going to swing their attacks. First Berserker, the timing is like, it feels like it's very much like 4/4 times. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, right? Right? You can get into tempo very easily, and they're not trying to, you know, be weird about it. They're not trying to throw you off. The boss fights in particular are very scripted. They kind of go through the same moves every time, right? They're going to run through the same order of moves every time, so it's pretty easy to memorize. But all that's there. I feel like, you know, that's the underpinning for a good Souls game is, you know, people do want to have that level of memorization. They want to feel like you enter that dance with the opponent, with the boss. You put the time in, you memorized it, you got the timing down, and you succeeded. And I just think that what they're doing here by not wasting your time, by continuously giving you that advantage of giving you more XP based on things that you're doing, on how you're playing the game, as opposed to just, okay, you only get XP when you succeed. That's a huge shift. And I think that's really novel. And I think it should be celebrated, because for the average gamer, this is what they want. This is something that I think people have wanted for a long time, and maybe they didn't even know it. I just think it's worth keeping an eye on this game, and I think the decisions that they've made here from a gameplay standpoint, I think this is just going to fall into place. I think this could be one of the best games of the year. At least it's probably one of the best Souls-likes of the year. I don't know if anything else is even coming out this year that's going to be like a caliber of this quality, but it's just a really novel thing. This is a really great concept. And I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about that. Everybody kind of just says, oh, it's another Souls-like, whatever. But it's really about the little details. You know, it's the little things that make or break a game. But that's it. I just wanted to take a minute to talk about this because I thought it was interesting. It's an interesting concept. I can't think of any other Souls-like game that has employed that. So if you know of any, please comment below, because I'm interested to see if this has been implemented anywhere else. Otherwise, check it out. Like I said, the demo is available on all consoles. It's on Steam now, and you can get it for free. Check out the streams I did, because I really enjoyed it. If you're on the fence and you want to see some gameplay and see what the combat is like, even more than what I've already spliced into this video, it's just great. And let me know if you're looking forward to this game and what you think of the changes, right? Do you think this is too accessible? Do you think it's going to make the game too easy by giving you XP as you fight the boss, as opposed to all at once after you claim victory? Kind of curious to see what you think about that. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, and get the hell out of here.